What's up? Welcome to the Clicklabs YouTube channel. My name is Nick. I'm the co-founder of Clicklabs. Today, we are talking about scaling your info or coaching offer to 100K a month and the different software options and why all of them suck. And that's why we built Clicklabs, because we have been doing this for a while now and all the software options sucked. That's why we built what we built. That's why we built our software. That's why we built Clicklabs, because everything else out there just didn't work the way we wanted it to work. So option one is to keep it very, very simple. Very simple. Now, if you're selling high ticket, it's like a Calendly. You're going to run a Calendly. You're going to run a call funnel. Most people just link this in their bio, or maybe they'll link like a type form and they'll reach out to people via text. Or you're doing like a direct checkout and you have something really basic, like just something to do checkouts, like a Gumroad, or you're literally just using Stripe and then you're sending them a PDF manually, something along those lines. This is what most people start out as. Most people are not doing these full builds. I sure as hell started out just like this, but the problem is you lose a lot of your potential customers. Like when I started, this is years and years and years ago, we weren't calling the people that were getting our lead magnet, and we had like 5,000 people get it when we dropped it. It was crazy. We had a whole sales team, but they were just taking sales calls. We didn't have setters or somebody triaging the people, like calling all of the people that got our lead magnet. We probably lost out on like 70% of potential deals because most people don't just direct book. Most people have to be moved into the sale, and we were losing a ton of money. So I think that 50% number is quite conservative, if I'm being honest. You're losing a lot of money if you have a very simple stack, which is where you start to look at these other things, like some kind of all-in-one thing or a full build. Now, I say fake all-in-one because GHL is fake all-in-one. It is fake all-in-one. People will sell it to you as all-in-one, and it's only all-in-one if they do a build-out for you or they do some level of maintenance because things are changing, and they have to custom put in course setups and connect it with an automation tool, or they have to custom put in contracts. The overall usability of it is very clunky. Now, some people fall in love with it because they're just like, oh, I'm a small business owner, blah, blah, blah. Like, I don't know any better. That's right. You use Go High Level if you don't know any better, pretty much. If you want something that is custom and has the best of everything, you do a full build where you attach a CRM to an email pipeline, to a form, to a course hosting, to your funnel hosting, to your contracts, all stitched together with Zapier, and you obviously use Calendly for your calls, and it's all living in a Google Sheet with Zapier, and these are your two main points of truth with all your data, and then everything else is around that, and you have to do a full build out, and you have to do a lot of maintenance. It's ridiculous. It's crazy. I had to become a Zapier expert, moving these things all together. I had to pay a lot of money to learn how it worked just to run my business, and then I hired a person to come in here, and this person would manage all of this. And so that's a new salary. We then had to worry about, time wasted because things were going down, or maybe that person messed up and then I had to step in anyway to fix it. And all these things are expensive because, this is like at least $500 a month if you have a couple people. There's another 100. There's another like 500 to 1,000 depending on the size. Here's another 300. Here's another 100 to 200. Here's another 3. Here's another 3. Here's another 2. You know what I'm saying? And then there's a bunch of other softwares outside of that stack that I'm not even listing here. And it gets crazy. Okay, so this doesn't work good enough. You still are stitching all this stuff together, and it's confusing, and it's glitchy. It's glitchy, by the way. Every sales team I worked on is always like, I go high level, glitchy. I don't want to work with it. Every sales guy tells me that. And they're the ones that are actually using that. A full build is expensive, it's clunky, and it's confusing, okay? You can get something custom with it, but it's confusing. And this, you're just losing a ton of customers. So we had this dilemma. We had this big dilemma of we want to make way more money, but we can't make way more money when the software stacks are annoying. We're constantly getting pulled back in. We have crazy expenses there. This isn't optimized for scale and for best results. It's just not good and optimized for conversion rates. And this, I'm losing so many deals. What do we do? What do we do? This is a big headache. And every time, because I run a social media coaching consulting company as well as an agency, and every time we want to get a client up to speed, I basically would have to tell them to just use this, because setting up any of this, like this is still hard to set up. Okay, by the way, this is all hard to set up. Calendly's easy. Go in, you type it, boom, boom, done. But I would just tell them to use that, because doing all that would just distract them more than anything, and they wouldn't be able to set it up, and then they would spend all their time on that instead of making money. And you need to spend your time on making money. That's why you're in business, to make money, to sell, to market, to fulfill your customers. It doesn't need to be this whole IT crazy stack that you need to deal with. So I would tell them to do this, and they would end up losing out on a bunch of sales, and then eventually we would have to say, you're going to need a custom build. And either they would have to learn it, or we would have to do it for them, or we'd have to refer an automation specialist to do it for them, and they would have to pay all this money to do it. So we wanted to fix that. We wanted to solve it, and we built the real solution, which is Clicklabs, okay? It is simple. It's all in one. It's the full build. Like when I say a full build, it's this full build right here. Everything that you could possibly imagine is inside of here. CRM, calendar, product hosting, sales, emails. By the way, in the site, okay, you have landing pages, you got forms, you got checkouts, all that sort of stuff. You got sequences, emails, text, that sort of thing after someone books a call. We have analytics. You can analyze the whole thing, and you can still integrate with the automation tools and outside platforms if you need to. And by the way, it's cost effective, because the average person doing this is spending a couple grand. The average person doing this is probably spending about $1,000 or more, including the maintenance and the build out. And the average person doing this isn't spending much on software, but they are losing a ton of sales. Like if you're making $20K a month right now and you're just doing this, you're probably losing another $20K a month in sales because of how inefficient it is. So we built it all in one. Ignore this, by the way. Ignore this, because that was for Instagram. I recorded this video separately. But you get the idea. So imagine you had the full power of a full CRM, a full email sending, full automation, full forms, full landing pages, full courses, full contracts, full call booking. You had all of that built specifically for info, all in one singular spot. That's what Clicklabs is. So I'm going to demonstrate real quick how that works. You know, if I was setting up, let's say, there's really two main funnels that people run. They run a checkout funnel, a direct checkout funnel, to a landing page, and then, you know, someone puts their card info in, or you run a call booking funnel. Those are the two main funnels. People also run webinar funnels. People do affiliates, that sort of thing. Those are in addition. So we'll go to the site real quick. We have pages right here, forms, tracking, all that sort of stuff. Tracking. I forgot. We got so much stuff. We got tracking. That's a whole other thing that you have to learn how to set up. It's crazy. And I'll make a separate video on that, by the way. Anyway, I'm going to view this. So we have the page directly built right here. And you can see this form right here. Take note of that, okay? That form is a Clicklabs form, and it is built directly inside Clicklabs. So I can just change this over to whatever I want to change it over to. You see what I'm doing here? And that form is built right here. See, fitness demo. And that fitness demo, you know, I can ask all the questions I want to ask. I can prevent them from fake emails and phone numbers and all that. But what I can do afterwards, I can directly send them to book a call on a meeting, and that call booking is directly in Clicklabs. And when somebody finishes an application, they can go directly into our CRM. It's all stitched together into one system. You know what I would have to do before? I would have to go and make a fresh little Zapier sequence. So someone comes to my landing page, okay? And I have to grab the tracking link, by the way. All right, because we do have tracking in here. Like I was saying, all you need to do is use the proper link here. You come here, and you go here, and then you copy it, and boom, you have your tracking on the link, and it'll show on the person's contact, and it'll count up how many you're getting on a monthly basis, okay? But what I would have to do is I have to set that tracking link up on the ClickFunnels page, and then on that page, I would have to make my form, and I would have to custom code it so it pulls that link in, okay? And then afterwards, it's going to go to a different page where I have my calendar hosted. And my calendar hosted on there also needs custom coding to pull all the information in from this, okay? And then after this, I'm going to take that information, I'm going to send these people to a pre-call page, but while they're being sent to a pre-call page, I'm also going to the back end to a CRM with all the information getting zapped in there. And by the way, I'm paying for each one of these tasks at any given moment. And then this information is going to be sent over to my team, and they're going to be notified of it. And then they can be calling and texting and doing all that from the CRM. And additionally, I forgot to mention, okay, after they get in, the information is then sent also to the email and the text sending platform to notify this person and update this person and get them warmed up for the call. Why does it have to be like that? It doesn't. It doesn't anymore. It is all in one platform, because after someone fills out that form, I can send them, like I said, from this form, I can send them directly over to the calendar setup. And in the calendar setup, I can set up my event. And that event right here will auto-populate their first name and their last name based on what they put in the form, with their email, with their phone number, and then they can book a call. And when they book that call, it's automatically going to update this contact inside of the CRM. Automatically. And if I take that call with them, I can send them an invoice, I can send them a contract, I can onboard them, I can enroll them in a different sequence directly on the call, directly from the CRM here. I don't need to have all these different softwares set up. And additionally, when they book that call, I can put them through a sequence automatically. All I have to do on that calendar connection right here is select what sequence I want to put them in. That's it. So after booking, what happens? Oh, I put them in a sequence right here, pre-call. Boom, done, simple as that. It is all connected. It is all intertwined. It is all much, much cheaper than what you are paying for a full build-out stack, and it's cheaper than what you're paying right now if you're just doing a very bare bones thing, because you're going to make way more money. You're missing out on a lot of money right now if you're not building the full thing out. So look, guys, welcome to the Clicklabs channel. I appreciate you watching. I want you to ditch all of this chaos, headache, garbage, and I want you to come check out Clicklabs. Okay, I want you to come check it out, because if you want to make $100K a month with your info business, your coaching business, that sort of thing, you need simplicity. You need something that works. You need something that allows you to go and focus on the things that make you money, like marketing and sales, not worrying about the tech stack, not hiring a growth operator, not hiring an automations person. Okay? You need to worry about making money, and this will help you make money because there's nothing to worry about once it's set up. It doesn't break. It doesn't have all these connections. You don't need to worry about it. It's not a headache, and it's very, very cost effective. So, look, I appreciate you being here, watching the channel. My name is Nick. Again, I'm the co-founder of Clicklabs. If you want to check us out, you can apply for access, apply and schedule a call down below. You either have that call with me or someone from our team will give you a demo and walk you through things to see if we can help you in your situation. I appreciate you watching, and we'll see you in the next video.